highest record of COVID-19 cases to date. Dozens of COVID-19 cases linked to parties at BC Ski Resort. Staying healthy and helping the environment by plugging. PlayStation website announces Cyberpunk 2077 refunds. Hawaii healthcare workers look forward to receiving COVID-19 vaccine and encourage others to do the same. In sports, Philippines' Kai Soto takes part G League Ignite training camp. And LeBron James unveils new plans to redefine Ohio hometown community. Hello everyone, you're watching Eagle News International from Canada. I am Cara Cabuso Pascual reporting from St. John, New Brunswick, bringing you stories from across the globe. Provincial health officers provide move evidence to COVID-19 skeptics who try to downplay how deadly the virus really is. Eagle News correspondent Thomas I. Likeness reports.
More evidence for the skeptics who think COVID-19 is no worse than the flu. This comes from Alberta Health Services. Just how deadly has the pandemic been in our province? Well, let's ask Chief Medical Officer of Health, Dr. Dina Hinshaw.
It is a sobering statistic that in less than 10 months, more Albertans have now died from COVID-19 than have died from influenza in the last 10 years combined.
But, Dr. Hinshaw, the critics say it's mostly old people who account for most of these deaths. Come on, Doc, even if a younger person is infected, it isn't that serious, is it?
This virus does not discriminate, and it can have long-term and potentially devastating impacts on all of our health. No one of any age can take COVID-19 lightly.
Some of the long-term effects include heart problems, lung problems. It can also affect your kidneys, your nervous system, can create memory loss, psychiatric problems. These are serious problems that can linger for a lifetime. So how many people in the younger demographics ended up with COVID so far? Dr. Hinshaw says 38% of the cases were in the under 40 age group.
In Alberta to date, more than 32,000 people between the ages of 20 and 39 have contracted COVID-19. More than 380 of them have been hospitalized, and sadly, 8 of these have died.
Very sobering numbers. And the only way to decrease these numbers right now is with public health restrictions until enough people are vaccinated so that herd immunity takes over. In the meantime, I wish you all good health. Remember to take care of others and take care of yourselves. Stay home, stay safe, and stay tuned to Eagle News for accurate and balanced coverage of the COVID-19 pandemic and other current affairs. In Edmonton, Canada, Thomas I. Likeness, Eagle News. We live in interesting times.
The difference between the first lockdown and current restrictions are being studied as COVID-19 cases continue to rise in Toronto. Eagle News correspondent April Masong with the details.
Toronto saw its highest record of COVID-19 cases Wednesday, with 850 new reported cases. 281 people are hospitalized, 68 of which are in the ICU, and 19 deaths are linked to COVID-19. Among the 19 deaths reported on Wednesday was a 47-year-old person. Toronto reported that the youngest person currently hospitalized is 23 years old. Toronto's Chief Medical Officer, Dr. Eileen Davila, gives a serious insight to reporting COVID numbers.
But this is only part of the story. When we talk about cases, it's important to remember the cases that we report only reflect the tip of the iceberg. The number of true infections is much larger than the cases we report. We report on cases in people who tested positive. What we don't capture are infections that aren't symptomatic or are so mildly symptomatic that people don't think that they have COVID. and don't get tested. Those people are able to spread infection and never know it, possibly spreading it to someone who won't be as lucky to experience mild disease.
The alarming increase of COVID-19 cases both in the city and the entire province brings to discussion the difference between the first lockdown back in spring and the one that is currently implemented. According to Dr. Davila, the data shows that staying apart works, as last spring, Toronto was able to flatten the curve because more people actually stayed home. Whereas during the second lockdown, the data shows that more people aren't staying home as much. Dr. Davila strongly urges people to speak up and call out people who may be planning to break the rules.
I know many of you are acting to protect yourselves and the people who matter to you this holiday season. In the coming days, I'm asking all of you who are doing differently over the holidays to lead by example and to speak up. Directly encourage the people you know and care about to commit to the same thing, keeping apart for the good of everyone. The more voices there are taking a stand, the more impact our resolve will have.
In Toronto, April Masangsang, Eagle News, we live in interesting times.
Big White Ski Resort in British Columbia are now limiting bookings as multiple COVID-19 cases were linked to the resort. Here's Eagle News correspondent Vanessa Condi with more.
Interior Health has recently released a statement that there has been a COVID-19 cluster where 60 cases related to a ski resort in Big White Mountain in Kelowna due to group housing and social gatherings. The restrictions for not gathering socially outside your immediate household and the cautioning against non-essential travel are still in place until January 8th in BC. The Big White Ski Resort has released a statement that has a zero-tolerance policy and fired a number of employees for breaking the COVID-19 social responsibility contract. Also, due to the COVID-19 cluster at Big White Ski Resort, they are now limiting bookings to the local area of the Okanagan until January 9th. However, Whistler, one of the most popular ski resorts in BC and the world, has put the onus on the customer to follow the guidelines. As like most of this year, this ski season will be a very different experience. In Victoria, BC, Vanessa Condi, Eagle News, we live in interesting times.
Have you heard of plugging? Eagle News correspondent Jeanette Duazo tells us why people are getting into this new eco-friendly trend.
Due to the coronavirus pandemic, a lot of people had been confined to their homes as part of advice and/or part of health protocols set by health experts and governments around the world. There has been a lot of changes in our daily routine and how people do things, including getting enough physical activity due to social distancing. People do exercise at home nowadays and go to places where people can go out, riding bicycle, jogging and walking are also alternative activities. What about exercising that would benefit not only our body and mind, but also the environment? That's what this low-intensity, eco-friendly exercise does. It's called plugging. It is a combination of jogging and the Swedish word for pickup, plugga up. The movement was started by Erik Alström in Sweden in 2016. It gained popularity among environmentalists as well as fitness enthusiasts with the help of social media. By 2019, people in hundreds of locations around the world are plugging. A few variations of this exercise came out, combining it with other outdoor activities like skateboarding, walking, rowing, and hiking. For me, walking at the beach is one of ways to have a break from pretty much everything, from reading emails, being on the phone, on your tech. Nature walk is really nice, and while I'm at it, why not pick up some litter? And that's what I do on a daily basis. So this is where I go all the time. According to the website of Fauna and Flora International, the world's oldest international wildlife conservation organization, plastic is accumulating in the world's oceans. An estimated 8 million tons of plastic are swept into our seas and oceans every year, mainly via rivers and coastal urban centers through churned waste, sewage systems, road runoff, and littering, posing danger to over 500 marine species known to suffer from entanglement in and consumption of plastic debris, both of which often prove fatal. At the moment, when in most places, people are advised to keep their bubble small, to be around with their own household members only, this is a perfect time to go plugging. Get out where it is allowed, go for a walk, get fresh air, bring a plastic bag, and plug away. In British Columbia, Jeanette Tuazo, Eagle News. We live in interesting times.
Sony said it was pulling the much-hyped Cyberpunk 2077 from PlayStation stores around the world, citing customer dissatisfaction after complaints of bugs, compatibility issues, and even health risks. Sony Interactive Entertainment strives to ensure a high level of customer satisfaction. Therefore, we will begin to offer a full refund for all gamers who have purchased Cyberpunk 2077 via PlayStation Store, the firm said in a statement. It was posted on international PlayStation sites in the United States, Australia, and elsewhere. The dystopian-themed title is reportedly one of the most expensive video games ever made, and its release was hotly anticipated. But the rollout has been far from smooth, with the game's Warsaw-based maker CD Projekt Red on Monday issuing an apology and vowing to fix bugs and crashes with patches in January and February, while also offering refunds to gamers not willing to wait. The game's release had been delayed twice this year, and CD Projekt Red was forced to add health warnings after one reviewer complained it had caused an epileptic seizure. Last week, the company said it was looking into a more permanent solution to tackle the health risk as soon as possible. Despite the problems, entertainment rating website Metacritic has given Cyberpunk 2077 a score of 87 out of 100 based on 69 reviews, describing it as an open-world action-adventure story set in Night City, a megalopolis obsessed with power, glamour, and body modification. Ratings by gamers posted on the site, however, less upbeat, with the Cyberpunk 2077 earning a score of 7.0 out of 10 based on reviews from 20,544 users. CD Projekt Red spent an estimated 1.2 billion zloty to make Cyberpunk 2077, according to analysts at Polish bank BOS, which would make it one of the most expensive games ever made. The company rose to global prominence 5 years ago thanks to its hugely successful The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, a somber fantasy whose monster-slaying hero is endowed with superhuman powers. But it has lost billions in value since the Cyberpunk 2077 launch last week, stock figures showed on Monday. Coming up, Hawaii healthcare workers look forward to receiving COVID-19 vaccine. Encourage others to do the same. In sports, Philippines' Kai Soto takes part G League Ignite training camp. And LeBron James unveils new plans to redefine Ohio hometown community. Eagle News International continues after this.
Innovation, digital disruption, globalization. Startups, micro, small, and medium enterprises, as well as large corporations, all face interesting challenges in the market today. Peek into the world of exciting opportunities and partnerships to drive growth with the latest business news and information. We are open for business. Join the conversations to create a more vibrant environment for entrepreneurship. Catch Open for Business every Saturday from 5 to 6 p.m. Open for Business, from vision to action.
Welcome back. You are watching Eagle News International from Canada. I am Cara Cabuso Pascual from St. John, New Brunswick. Just like in the U.S. mainland, Hawaii has received its share of COVID-19 vaccine. Since then, the state has announced a delay in additional shipments. Eagle News correspondent Mio Acenas from our Hawaii Bureau recaps on how the vaccination program in the Aloha State began.
The COVID vaccine comes available to me. I plan to take it because I feel, after reading up about it, that it's relatively safe.
So I think we would do a great disservice by not protecting our family members, those who are vulnerable and those who are young. So if you get the chance to take it, please take this vaccine.
Earlier today, the first COVID-19 vaccination in Hawaii took place in the Queens Medical Center in downtown Honolulu. The first shot was administered to Dr. Lester Moorhead, followed by 4 other members of the hospital staff. They include 2 nurses, a respiratory therapist, and a housekeeping aide. Tripler Army Medical Center has received its initial shipment of the Pfizer vaccine earlier today as well. Under guidance by the U.S. Department of Defense, military hospitals will implement a data-driven, phased approach of vaccination as recommended by the Department of Health and Human Services and the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, or CDC. Meanwhile, hospitals across the state continue to prepare their facilities and even rehearse their procedures, in anticipation of the arrival of additional shipments of the vaccine in the coming weeks ahead. Healthcare workers at this VA medical center are already looking forward to receiving the vaccine and setting an example for others.
Once the vaccine is available, I am willing to take it because first, I have to protect myself and my family. And another thing is I want to protect the patient as well.
The vaccine that has been cleared is Moderna and Pfizer. Both are mRNA vaccines, which you take the shot and about 2 weeks later your body begins to build antibodies. I think that is one of the best immunizations that you can get. Why? Because you will develop antibodies that will protect you from getting the virus or having a wide proliferation of the virus. So I think that we should, as a people, to protect your family and the people in the house or those who you come in contact with, you should take the vaccine.
Health officials are estimating that every hospital in the Aloha State will get the vaccine by next week. Reporting from Honolulu, Hawaii, I'm Mio Acenas, Eagle News. We live in interesting times.
In sports, Philippines' own Kai Soto takes part of the new training program launched by the NBA's G League to get a head start in his NBA career.
There is no doubt that all of Philippines will be listening in on next year's NBA draft to see if one of their own makes it to the big leagues. Philippines' own Kai Sotto will be eligible to join the NBA in the 2021 NBA draft after some time with the new program launched by the NBA's G League. The G League Ignite team was designed to be a one-year development program for elite NBA prospects who are looking to get a head start on their NBA career. In his recent media availability, Kai Sotto does admit that the competition he has seen since his time in the G League is tougher than what he's used to, but it forces him to grow both as a player and as a person. Kai is also taking advantage of being around veteran players and coaches who have had many years of experience in a league that he hopes to be a part of someday. Despite being so young at just 18 years old, Kai understands what playing for the NBA as the first full Filipino player represents.
I think it's just the culture of the Philippines being really supportive, especially basketball fans. You know, if you don't know, basketball in the Philippines is really big. So me being a full-grown Filipino trying to make it to the NBA, they really support me. And there's been a lot of messages, comments, and I just do my best to just keep my feet on the ground and just keep working. Because at the end of the day, when I reach my dreams, it's all for them. It's just not Kai's dream. It's a lot of people's dream. So as I said, I just work every single day to get better. It's for me to reach that goal, and I'm doing it for my family, and I'm doing it for them.
When asked about being an inspiration to young Filipino basketball fans who hope to make it one day, here's what he had to say.
Dream big and just to believe in yourself, because believe me, there are times that nobody believes in me. I mean, only my parents, only my family, but even my former teammates didn't believe in me that I can make it this far. But I use that as a motivation for me to even work harder, not just to prove them wrong, but also like shine a light for them that, you know, this player that I played with before is now in the G League. So I think it's just dreaming big and just working hard for it, because it's not easy. There will be a lot of challenges that will come ahead, and you just have to be ready for it. And you will fail along the way, but that will help you get better, and that will help you get stronger when it comes to a bigger challenge.
Sotto is joined by his fellow Filipino teammate Jalen Green, who hails from Fresno, California, and was projected to be number 1 in his draft class. India's Principal Singh and Congo's Jonathan Kaminga also joined Sotto as part of Ignite, showing basketball fans all over the world just how diverse the sport is. Reporting from Toronto, Canada, Zarita Sese, Eagle News, we live in interesting times.
LeBron James' inner city upbringing in Akron, Ohio, holds dear to the LA Lakers All-Stars' heart. His generosity to his hometown continues to grow as his foundation launched a new community hub, House 330. Eagle News sports correspondent Tenny Sumagi has the details.
The kid from Akron, Ohio, LeBron James, is more than an NBA icon. James's latest initiative is House 330, inspired by his hometown's area code. This community hub will feature services like financial planning, job services, and recreational activities for families and the youth.
Well, how it came together is us continuing to want to listen to our families. We listen to our kids, we listen to our families and what their needs are. And we're just not settling for, what we've done in the past. We want to continue to grow. And we believe House 330 is the next step on providing, the future for our kids and for our families. Tangiers has been a place that I grew up going to. Used to have a lot of banquets there as a kid, either when I was playing Little League football or Little League basketball, all the way up through high school. So I know how important that landmark is to our city and to the city of Akron. And for us to be able to take over that venue and create a space for our families and our kids and people that want to come and see what we're doing, I think it's amazing. I think Chase and Old El Paso, Dick's Sporting Goods, and so many other partners that we have on just believing in us and being able to create something that our families and our kids will last forever. It's one of the best things I've done and we've done as a foundation, and we're going to continue to build off of that because our kids they need it. This is how you create generational change, and we want to continue to do that for our community.
James hopes to show the same support to his fellow teammates, doing whatever it takes to stay connected and committed to winning another NBA title with the Lakers. In New York, Tenny Samagi, Eagle News, we live in interesting times.
That is our program for today. Join us next week as we bring stories that matter to you. Visit our website at eaglenews.net and eaglenewslive.com. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/eaglenews and on Facebook at facebook.com/eaglenews. Thank you for watching. I am Cara Cabuso Pascual. We live in interesting times.